The following is a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From the birthplace of modern winemaking, Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers. Local experts Sam Couturi, Bart Hansen, and Brian Casey invite you to listen in as they discuss all facets of winemaking. So sit back, pour yourself a glass, and let's hear what the guys have to say this week.
Hello, everyone out there. This is Danielle Langlois with the Winemakers Podcast. I'm sitting here with Sam Couturi, Brian Casey, and Bart Hansen, our hosts. And today we are talking to Brian Hurley from Pavot Gateau.
Yeah, almost.
Coteau Pavot.
Coteau Pavot. Sorry.
You made it to the end, though. I mean, you got your name right first.
Coteau Pavot, yeah.
You were definitely concentrating.
Yeah.
Well, you'll loosen up a little bit.
I'll warm up.
Yeah.
I'll warm up.
Yeah.
French is
You'll
hard.
stop worrying about fucking up like the rest of us.
No, the bad part is I am French, so.
Oh. That was the part you were supposed to get.
I know.
Thank you.
Well, welcome, Brian.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I was a intern back in 2018, listening to you guys cruising around, so
And
super cool to be here.
He stayed in the wine business.
Wait, interning where?
I was at ERATH at that time, up in Oregon.
Cool.
Yeah, so
I met Brian from of all things, Sonoma's Best. A Thursday afternoon tasting. He was I think you were pouring your own wine maybe there that day.
yeah.
And so we got to be talking, and Brian's worked at a number of very interesting places. He's currently the assistant winemaker, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
For Stewart Cellars. So that's for our friend Blair Guthrie. So both sides of the
Friend of the pod.
the Napa Valley Cabernet project. Of course, the Guthrie Cellars, which is all the other varieties. And that's it. So, and Brian has his own brand, and we always had good conversations, and so here we are.
Yeah.
Pavot Coteau. Coteau Pavot.
You see,
What is
I didn't even
Pavot.
try to
Can we
say
get
it.
the translation? So
Yeah, definitely. That's important. So Coteau Pavot, Coteau meaning hill, Pavot being the word for poppy. And so, of course, the French inversion. But the reason we chose that name is I'm a local Sonoman. So obviously the poppy flower is of significance for a Californian. And then my brother-in-law and co-founder is a native Frenchman. So little homage to our roots.
Up on Poppy Hill.
Up on Poppy Hill. That's right.
This wine's great.
Thank you.
Super fresh.
And that was the
clean.
other thing is I knew that this wine would be right up Brian's alley.
wine.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then I tasted the orange wine and knew that would be a great conversation piece.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
And then I don't know the other wines, so the other Sonoma Valley wine, so that's exciting to try. So anyway.
Yeah, we got the lineup. We got 5 wines.
So you grew up in Petaluma. See, it seems so natural.
I did.
You grew up in Sonoma,
Yep.
and you're 30, you said.
Yeah, I'm 30 now.
And so the wine business was fully here. What were your parents live in Sonoma all their lives? Or you? How did you end up here?
Yeah, so my mom started coming to Sonoma in the 80s, the early 80s, I want to say. And then
From
not from far away, from Berkeley, a native or Bay Area born and raised. My dad's from Ohio, though, and my parents actually met up on top of the Sebastiani Theater when it was called...
It was a nightclub.
Yeah, it was called the Cabaret Sauvignon, I think it was.
Yeah, the Cabaret Sauvignon.
Yeah.
I remember
Gosh, I
that.
love that name.
Right? Should bring it back. And then, I was
But
born...
wait, I'm sorry. Up on the roof?
No, it was actually...
Upstairs
Upstairs.
in the Sebastiani Theater was a nightclub. I believe now it's a real estate office.
I just thought there was a balcony.
No, this is like above the balcony, maybe?
I've never been there, so I don't
Have
know.
you ever been up there?
I don't think so.
I went there.
have
I went up
memories
there
of it.
during that time, I thought it was in the building next to the Sebastiani Theater, but
I think you went in.
You went in through the building next door.
Through the building next to it, where like the Sonoma French Bakery was.
Right.
There was like a staircase in there,
right?
Like a door there, I think.
Yeah,
I said it on the door.
It was a nightclub. You know, disco dancing, baby.
Wait, and what do you think it is now?
I think it's like a real estate office or something.
Oh, so there's someone in there, you think?
Yeah. I know that I've heard chatter from Sebastiani Theater board members of trying to recreate something up there, but it doesn't have like an elevator or ADA issues. So I believe it now is just full of filing cabinets or some shit.
I was just thinking about New Year's Eve doing like a little after party up there.
We'll have to talk to management.
Count me in.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, and then I was born right here in town, so just a couple streets up. And my parents are not in the wine industry at all. So I got into it pretty much as soon as I finished high school. I started working...
Sonoma High?
Yeah, I went to Sonoma High. And then I ended up being offered a viticulture technician job at Candid. And that was through Jerry Mackling, who I knew.
From Jerry, yeah.
Yeah.
So, is that where you met Blair originally?
That is where I met Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Candid.
Blair was at Candid?
Yeah. So what year was that?
That was 2014.
Yeah. God, you guys are young.
Yeah.
I know, but had you gone to... what were you doing in wine before then?
So that was really my intro. I just finished high school, and I honestly was very uninspired by academics at that time of my life. And
I'm going to use that one.
Uninspired by academics. That's the legacy of Sonoma Valley High right there.
Yeah, but I met my wife there, so it was worth it. And when I
just didn't know you could get hired with that position as like with no experience.
You can't really, and that's why I was super lucky to get that. It was a combination of really good timing. They needed somebody, and I was able and willing, and I always showed up 5 to 10 minutes early. So,
well, and remember,
too young to be hungover.
Right.
Yeah.
A vineyard
I don't know.
technician.
Technically.
Yeah. Vineyard technician could mean 10 different things at 10 different wineries.
Right.
Yeah.
Popping petioles samples or...
Right.
But it was great because at Candid, I pruned with the crews. I leafed, picked grapes. I really did all of the field work, which was I pounded steaks. That's something I think not everyone even gets to do.
Sorry, it's his first show.
I actually planned on that.
Perfect.
Not everybody gets to do that, as some of those entry level technician positions are more centered around data collection or something like that. So
counting grapevines.
Yeah, a lot of cluster counts, man.
Go count some grapevines.
It's a 700-acre property there, so it was a lot of counting.
So was Vintage Wine Estates part of it at that point?
That was the Candid family.
It was still the family.
Yeah, that was the family. And Zach Long was the winemaker. Steve Thomas was the vineyard manager. Yep. And Steve and Zach really guided me at a pivotal moment of my life and encouraged me to go to school. So I started going to the Santa Rosa Junior College and did the entire program there, both for viticulture, and they have a winemaking degree. Mm-hmm. And then I snagged the natural studies at the same time, because why not? Or natural sciences, rather.
What's that?
It's just a kind of general science associate's degree. And with all of the viticulture and enology studies, you kind of had to take one more class to get a third one. So I was like, why not? I had no intention of going to Davis. But Zach and Steve kind of pushed me in that direction, told me how to do it, with the transfer in. And then, I just kind of worked harvest jobs every summer for variety of places. So
shout them out.
Let's see here.
Let's hear the CV.
I went from Candid to the Prisoner Wine Company. And that was pre-acquisition. And then...
So Prisoner when it was...
Huneeus. Yeah, it was Huneeus. And then 16, I took that kind of off for work and focused on the JC studies, and we did like harvest there. I made a wine there at the winery, and honestly, shout out to the JC program for being excellent.
They grow grapes on the
At the Schoen Farm.
I think it's 40 acres, so it's sizable. It's a
I didn't know
proper.
it was that big.
It's a proper operation. Yeah, and they have an organic block, and they were.
Oh, so hold on. Say more. They have an organic block, but then they farm the rest conventionally?
I don't know what it is today, but at the time there was 2 or 3 blocks that were certified organic, and the remainder was conventional. I'd imagine that they're probably leaning a little bit more organic these days because the Schoen Farm definitely has that vibe to it.
So did you do like comparison tastings with the grapes? Like how close were they grown? Like what kind of science experimenty things could you do?
Yeah, great question. So I didn't do any tasting stuff for that.
Because you were 19.
Yeah, but hey,
Yeah.
I'm doing math in my head over here.
I did.
It's 9, 20, 25.
I did start at the JC the first semester that they allowed you to taste at 18 for academic.
I remember that they gave there was like a certain pass thing that they were doing for students.
Yeah.
Of
So you had to,
viticulture
like-
and enology, because it's like if you're studying this and you
gotta
can't
taste
taste it, like there's no point.
So
I
then
s-
you have to spit.
I think they measure the spit in, spit out on
Yeah.
So
They weigh it.
750 milliliters of saliva.
Also at that point, that was before the wine program had been started by the JC, if I remember right? They were still selling, because I know Kenwood used to make some wine from it. The Benzigers made wine from it. And then at one point, my friend Mark Stupich is an old Kenwood guy. He was the winemaker for...
I love Mark.
He was the winemaker for the JC, him and
Okay.
Pat Henderson.
Well, so Pat came to classes and he signed my textbook. There was, I felt like it was a developed wine program at the time that I was in it.
Yeah.
All the coursework was there. They had the winery, students made wine every year. But to answer the question about the comparisons, because this is actually super relevant to current kind of atmosphere, I suppose. But we did a great experiment where we dug all these little trap in the conventional blocks and then the organic blocks.
What's a trap cup?
So you dig like a 6-inch hole and then you have like a solo cup inside of it, and you would leave it for like 4 days, or I think it was over the weekend maybe. And you would come back and you would tip them out and you would count all the stuff that, was crawling around in the vineyard and had fallen in. And the difference between the organic block and the conventional block was massive. I mean,
Yeah, organic soils are alive.
they are alive and farm organically because it's a visible difference. And that was a really cool kind of realization or kind of experiment to see the, tangible difference.
So the cup in the conventional vineyard was empty?
Barren, essentially. I mean, there was a couple of small, critters in there.
A couple of lizards.
Yeah, so, totally. It wasn't empty, but the difference was something like tenfold, and we counted it all out and ID'd everything, and it was cool.
That would be a fun experiment to do with you and your neighbor, right? I mean,
Which neighbor?
just any
neighbor?
random neighbor.
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
ahead, do a little trap cup trespassing.
Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm in for it.
Especially if
Darn
you
it.
have
Here to steal your bugs.
Right.
Or lack thereof.
yeah, no bugs to steal.
We're gonna steal your vineyard death. Yeah.
This wine is. Did I say this wine is great?
Yeah,
Not
this wine
yet,
is
but
great.
I think so too.
I love the lemony flavors.
yeah.
Then it has this long honey finish of like honey that you have, like real honey.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still so refreshing. That's one thing I love about Albariños is they have that light, crisp feel to them, and they're very refreshing. But you have a weight to the wine that's very light, but it gives us a little bit of seriousness to it that makes it, a serious wine.
Thank you.
Yeah, presence. Yeah, it's really nice.
Thank you for that. Yeah, super cool vineyard. This is from Rourke Heritage Vineyard. 2024 is the vintage.
So that up in the foothills.
Yeah. One of the few places in California that has proper limestone soils. So huge dolomitic lime outcrop.
We got to get him on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I talked to him about it at a gas station in Napa once. There's been a lot of follow up on that one.
Yeah, nice follow through.
Nice job, Sam.
No, Matthew's the man. Yeah, 100%. Been a huge mentor to me. A great friend. One of my best friends, honestly. And his vineyard is awesome.
I just noticed the ingredients list. So did you decide you wanted to do that?
What's that? I'm sorry?
The ingredients list.
Oh, yes. Yeah. All the wines have ingredients lists. And, a lot to say about that. I feel like it's good for many reasons. I think transparency is a huge one. First of all, we don't buy fruit that's not organically farmed. Most of it, or it's kind of half and half certified at this point. But, I feel like the ingredients list is nice because it prompts people to ask you about something that they may not know about. And then just generally for the transparency, it's something that I include in our winemaking, and I think it's really important.
And
What's on the ingredients list, Brian?
So
Yes.
for this one, they're all a little different and for varying reasons. But for this Albarino, grapes, obviously.
Good start.
And then I use yeast and malolactic bacteria. For the 24 vintage, I did use tartaric acid. And then I also used a little bit of organic yeast nutrient. And that one, I don't know, anybody who makes Albarino, you can shoot me a DM because for whatever reason, I find Albarino likes to get a little sluggy and kind of hit the brakes at about 25 grams during primary. So, I like to just punch it through and get it dry. That's something that I like to have as little residual sugar in the wines. And I do full ml on everything. This one, I only filter the Albarino, this Albarino. This one didn't quite finish malolactic before I needed to sell it because I ran out of wine, and it's a business after all. So anyways.
And what is, so the non-winemaker at this table, what is malolactic bacteria?
So essentially, primary fermentation being yeast fermentation completed by yeast, and malolactic fermentation being a bacterial fermentation. There is bacteria native in the vineyard. If you don't sulfur and filter the wine, you're going to go through malolactic. I use specific bacteria because I like the flavors that it produces more.
So different strains produce different flavor
Exactly.
profiles.
Yeah, some are higher in diacetyl. That's why Chardonnay tastes like buttery so much times, because they're using that specific one.
Right.
But go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I try to, I choose a strain that keeps it fresh, and then it also doesn't produce biogenic amines, which I think that this is something that I'm not an expert in, but I believe the science that some people have some reactions to biogenic amines, which...
What are biogenic amines?
Yes, please go continue.
Yeah, so essentially bacteria produce biogenic amines while they're fermenting. It's like, you take an antihistamine.
Right.
If you're having an allergic reaction to something. So there is some research that suggests that some people, have a headache or have some type of reaction to biogenic amines. And I know winemakers that only use bacteria because they have a reaction themselves and they want to drink their own wines. So it's a sliding scale of how sensitive people are to that.
Well, I definitely get like red-faced whenever I drink wine.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a reaction. I know people in my family have been do the same, and then we try and figure out, like, is it the oak? Is it an oak allergy?
Sulfite,
is it the alcohol in general?
tannin.
Is it sulfites? But I've never
Everyone
heard
has
this.
a
This is very
different-
interesting.
Yeah, I believe it's one of the reasons we use it, beyond flavor. And then another reason that we use it is that I'm really trying to make a nutrient desert in the wine for stability purposes. And so all the other wines I don't filter. I would not filter the Albarino if I didn't need to sell it before
finish.
it won't clarify fast enough. But yeah, because the wines are not filtered and I don't do anything for like Brett stability, I'm trying to control as much biologically as I possibly can.
So I have one more question about the biogenic amines, right?
Yeah.
So are
How do you
those
spell it so I can Google it?
Are those created during fermentation? Are they already present in the wine? And then when you go through the malolactic process, you're using a certain strain that eats those up?
Yeah. So my understanding of it is that it's produced, through metabolic pathways that particular bacteria have. And if you don't choose which one is fermenting, you might get one that does produce it and or you may get one that does not. As far as what is actually happening biochemically, it would probably be better if we looked up to give a proper technical description so I don't get anything wrong. But essentially there is one either enzyme or, pathway that is blocked some way or another so that those compounds just aren't made at all.
So it's made during malolactic fermentation from certain bacteria. I got it. Okay.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining.
Some malolactic bacteria must contain it or contain the...
Yeah,
I'm also wondering
Produce it,
how many people who think they have allergies to sulfites and, say, I can't drink wine with sulfur because I get a headache, but they have no problem eating, dried apricots.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is these biogenic amines...
I would say most, to be
means
honest,
to an
and
end.
it's totally anecdotal of me to make that claim, but
Yeah.
I would say that it's probably a handful.
There was a study because I remember that people would, anytime you work in a tasting room, people will come in and they will tell you that it was usually it's tannin or sulfites, and they're like, oh yeah, we have a reaction to them. But then I think it was Forbes or someone came out with an article like last year, or Wall Street Journal or something, that I think this is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
That they were like, finally, we've isolated this thing that we think is causing like headaches in people.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I mean, I certainly know about it through my time at Davis and conversations with other winemakers. It's, and this is a perk of the main purposes of using it for flavor and then the kind of nutrient use.
Yeah.
Because the strain that is used is a pretty voracious feeder. It kind of cleans everything up really nicely as far as any nutrient that might be hanging around. So
what kind of conversations have people come up to you about the ingredients list and said, we don't understand what is tartaric acid or what is the...
Not as often as I was hoping that they would,
right.
To be honest. I want people to ask about the wines. I want people to inquire about how they're made, and so that, we can open the conversation to anything else that may come up and just people can understand the wines better. But not as often as you think.
Huh. I would just think with the sort of the birth of the natural wine movement, and they're basically zero inputs or whatever.
Yeah,
that more people would ask you like, okay, why we love the wine, but we were wondering why you put this in.
Yeah, ask me, please. Anyone listening?
I mean, I think it's interesting because Ridge has been doing this for years, and I know Blair does it, right, on the Guthrie
Blair
wines.
does it too. Yeah, he does.
And other wineries have been doing it. I had a conversation with my, we'll say, my Republican wife about it because I thought about it. And
do you have a liberal wife also?
No, yeah. Once in a while, she's liberal. But her whole thing is why throw it out there? Like, why expose yourself that you're putting, what you're putting in the wine if you don't have to? And I said, well, it may come down that we might all have to do this at some time. And I'm not putting anything in the wine that I'm afraid of, that I'm good with.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
100% agreed. And, it's, I've seen this kind of trap that people have gotten in the past where you start a wine brand, you're making a small amount of wine, you can really manage, the wines really closely, and you kind of have a style or maybe a really important selling point for how you make them, and then you grow, and then you're unable to continue those principles that you started with. And so for me, doing this is, I can make 10,000 cases of wine like this, not saying I'm going to, but it's a scalable process without changing my kind of fundamental principles that I started with.
So I have a question about the ingredients. So
Yeah.
you talked about how you filter this wine, but there's no clarifying agents listed. So do you not do bentonite or anything, or do you just...
No bento, yeah.
Okay.
And I suppose that I could write on there filtered, filter medium or something like that. It's hard, right? Because you start to get in the weeds there.
Yeah, I
with
don't
additions.
think that you have to do filtering media, but I didn't know if you added bentonite to help get some of that.
Yeah, no fining is done.
Yeah, no finding. Okay,
Yeah, and if I did, it'd be on there.
perfect.
I just always thought that people wanted this. Like they say they want to know what's going into their wines. That's why I'm just so curious that more people
Well, the
aren't
people
like
who
talking
make-
to you about it.
the people who make wines that they don't want you to know what it's in it because it's quality controlled because it tastes the same every year.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know what happens.
They don't want it, but I'm talking about consumers.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a real desire of the consumer base to know what was in the wines. And he's like basically, and normally it's sulfites, right? It's grapes sulfites, because that's what people want to see on the list is like minimal sulfites.
Minimal effective sulfur.
But you're opening
Such a
up a
great
completely
meaningless
different
term.
conversation here. When you're talking about tartaric acid and you're talking about yeast and all that opens up a different conversation where people, I think 90% of people that drink wines don't know, and they might look at tartaric acid and go like, what the fuck is that?
Totally.
But he's also not putting in things like, Arabic gum and, I mean, the things he's using are all natural.
Well, that's what I
mediums.
mean. That's what I think is so cool. Is all of it's totally explainable, but I think a lot of people don't know what these things are, and so that's why I'm just shocked at.
But it's also probably a very small segment, right? I mean, he's a small winery selling it to a controlled kind of group.
Totally.
If
it's on Bogle Chardonnay, they might get some.
Correct. If it was in Safeway and, some soccer mom, no disrespect, picked it up. Well, that might decide what she thought when she read the back label, right?
Yeah, I think
glad
it's
my wife
Did she
doesn't listen to
vaccinate her
the show.
children or not?
Right, exactly.
Well, there's nothing scary on the back of his label. And so if people wanted to ask questions about it, which they should, people should always ask questions about wine that they want to know more about. That's the whole deal with wine. Tartaric acid naturally occurs in grapes, right? So sometimes you need to add it a little bit because it's a hot year and your acid goes away really quickly. And when you're trying to make, in 2024, when you're trying to make fresh, bright white wines, sometimes the grapes need a little help. And that's, I've done it. We've all done it.
And when there's another piece of that, which is like, if you don't in a year like that, you also expose yourself to flaws happening that will require you to use more intervening type of measures, right?
Yeah.
Spot on, Sam. Yeah, I think kind of my thought about it is that here's the things I'm comfortable doing.
Right.
They help me avoid things I'm not comfortable doing. From a book, Postmodern Winemaking, Clark Smith's book, kind of talks about if you feel uncomfortable doing something, or telling somebody that you're doing something, it's something you probably shouldn't be doing, or you should be cool with how you make the wines. And that's definitely something I use.
I love it. I fucking love it. Oh yeah.
I mean, it is probably coming that every wine will have to have some way of doing this, and I worry about real estate on the back label. You already have all these things that you have to put on there. So, but I think there's been chatter of like a QR code or something.
I mean, it'd be great if it could all just be contained in a QR code, and that includes the government warning and the contained sulfate.
Seriously.
I also think potentially classification system. I know you have to be careful with that. You can, that brings a lot of
who's on the board.
Other things, other trouble.
Hello, Lindsay, are you listening?
But basically,
we're gonna need a lawyer for this one.
It's to the core of it, wines that it's the whole natural wine movement. It's wines like mine, where we're just trying to differentiate from what else is up on the shelf. And, it's for a bottle of Bogle, it says the same thing as, a bottle of any other really nice premium wine that
contains sulfates.
Yeah. Or, Bogle probably has a bunch of other stuff in there. And, it's different.
This segment sponsored by Bogle Chardonnay.
Brian, do you consider yourself a natural winemaker?
Scott Labs.
No, not a natural winemaker. I consider these wines low intervention, but I definitely don't. I think, actually, here, let's define it. I think that natural wine to me is nothing other than sulfur. And I think sulfur in relative moderation, which I think you could use molecular as kind of because it's a real measure. If I say 50 parts, well, is it 50 parts at 3.2 pH or 3.8? Such a big swing. So I think 0.8 molecular is fine for natural wine.
And it's also something nobody understands, so it doesn't matter.
I have a chart. It helps me.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't blame people.
All right, what should we pour in our glass next? Are we going with another?
Will you just talk a little bit more about the Rourke Vineyard before we get into the next one? Just
Totally.
Yeah, the geology of it is super
and,
unique.
It's an amazing...
And your time there.
Yeah, amazing. So I worked for Matthew in 2020, and great guy. He and Mara Ambrose, now Mara Rourke, really taught me a lot. Super cool place. So one of the few places in California with proper limestone soils. So as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, there's two really large and prominent dolomitic lime outcrops that kind of sit in the middle of the vineyard. They've got all kinds of varieties, really interesting stuff. And they have, to me, a super cool highlight is they have 50-year-old own-rooted Wente Chardonnay that's sitting on limestone soils. So,
who makes that?
So John Lockwood makes one, Michael Cruz, Matthew, of course, and then I'm going to buy some of that this year from him. So
Lucky duck.
Super cool.
super excited about it. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But he's got Pinot d'Anis. He has Grenache Gris, which is the orange wine we'll taste. He's got Sauvignon. The list will go on and on. Pinot Gris, Chenin, all kinds of really cool stuff.
Is it pricey fruit?
I mean, it should be. There's a spectrum, and he doesn't sell a huge amount of fruit. I mean, I think that the foothills is always a bit of a challenge because of the price points that those wines kind of are in. But I guess you could say there's relative value compared to regions like Napa and Sonoma, which you basically can't put wines by the glass.
Right.
Because of the price involved.
Yeah, how much do you sell this bottle for?
Yeah, this is $30.
Oh, fucking great.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's by the glassable.
Yeah, for sure.
And Michael has his own wines also. Matthew has his own wines also.
Yeah, Matthew Rourke, Forlorn Hope. Yeah,
Right.
Everyone should check those out. Those are his.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are Matthew's wines, and then also he has the Queen of the Sierra line, which is right on the shelf at Todd at Sonoma's Best. Shout out Todd and Casey. Yeah. So yeah, you should try them.
Yeah. It's a special vineyard site.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. It's not just a foothill site, right? Because a lot of people go, "Oh, it's the foothills," and the foothills is very diverse.
It is,
and that's probably one of the most diverse properties up there.
Yeah, so really steep hillsides, 1,800 to 2,200 feet is the elevation.
Yeah,
and then for me, it's very like alpine, kind of vibe to it, and that the relative humidity is super low. During the summertime, and it snows there. There's 4 seasons, shaping up to be a pretty good vintage up there. So
I bet
that would be it. We should go up there and record trip.
we just invited ourselves, I think.
Yeah, because to see the property.
Well, really historic. I mean, the home on property was built in 1855.
Yeah,
and the winery is OG. I think it was built in the 70s. It was the old Steveno winery. Steveno's still up there, just at another winery now. Worth the trip, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Field trip.
yeah.
All right,
All right,
where we pour the second wine now.
Yeah, where are we going
so
next?
we can taste another white wine. This is the Sonoma white blend. Yeah. And then we should...
So this is actually a Sonoma Valley wine.
This is a Sonoma Valley wine, yeah.
And so what vineyard did this come from?
This is from the Leek family vineyard. So this is on the corner of... It's be 8th East and Napa Road, right across from the Weinberg Deli.
Oh yeah, that's the property you guys are now farming, right?
Yeah, so
Or part of it?
I've self-titled Director of Vineyard Ops. So I kind of help out with logistics and fruit sales and, have opinions. But Mike Nunez farms that.
Right.
And we are doing it organically. I just finished and submitted all my CCOF paperwork, which... shout out Sam. I've heard you talk about organic farming and kind of doing the non-certified versus the certified. And I used to be like, it's another thing to pay for. But after having done the paperwork for Montecillo, for Stewart Cellars, and then now for Leek, I couldn't agree more with you that everyone should just put the certification through. It's not that expensive. I'll answer any questions if you need help.
Perfect. Don't ask me, ask Brian.
I love the label on this. It looks like kind of white Bordeaux-y.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
classic French label.
So why is this label different than the other two?
I was just trying to separate kind of tiers. So this is more expensive being from Sonoma Valley. And then the City Hall is drawn there on the front.
That's City Hall.
Yeah, and
You guys
Barbara,
didn't pick that up
I
immediately?
didn't look that closely.
and local artist Barbara White Perry was super kind to allow us to use that. And so she lives here in town. She has a book of all illustrated buildings here in Sonoma that are historic buildings. Cool. And I found her online, and she was super nice, and she let us use it.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, shout out Barbara White Perry. Very kind to let us use that. And
Be a good book to have around.
So talk about this wine a little bit.
Yeah, so 2023 vintage now. I did this in about half neutral oak, half stainless steel. And I visually, so field blend, right? This is a combination of Albarino and Viognier. And to my eye, it was about 80-20. And then when we counted it, it was closer to 50-50. So this is about a half-half blend of Albarino and Viognier from right there. I also coined it Clos Weinberg because there's that raised kind of ground wall,
The
earth
berm
wall
around it.
Yeah, earth wall around it to go along with the French label touch.
I mean, it definitely shows the Viognier shows
Yeah.
its presence in the aromatics.
You can taste it,
Yeah.
and smell it.
Yeah, I've never had a blend of those two grapes.
Me neither, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think with how it turned out, I mean, did you make a 2024? Did you try and go more towards 80-20 with what you had learned, or are you sticking with the 50-50?
It's just 1 acre, so we actually grafted it out so it's now 100% Albarino. And just logistically, the ripeness of those two varieties is so incredibly different that it's just a logistical difficulty. And we have another block of Viognier, so if we ever wanted to do a blend, you could at least kind of plan a little bit more accordingly. And they were totally mixed in. Like the sticks just got tossed into the bag of Albarino.
I had to like cut over vine by vine.
Yeah, I went through and marked every one with tape, and then we came back in the...
Sounds like you're a bit tech again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got to practice my ampelography. Pretty different leaves, though. The Albarino is much more rounded like Chardonnay, and then Viognier has...
Spikes.
Yeah, spikes, and then also the big sinuses. Right. So, fortunately, pretty clear. But to answer your question, the 2024 is 100% Albarino.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a fun one.
Totally. There's another wine I would definitely have in my fridge.
Right.
Yeah, fresh and bright.
Totally.
Yeah, maybe jump into the orange.
All right, let's do it. Grenache Gris.
Yeah, which Grenache Gris is a lovely variety.
Do you make more whites than you do reds?
Yeah, we only make one red wine.
So is that is that because you personally like
Love white
drinking
wines. Yeah,
cool.
definitely. They're fresh, bright.
Yeah.
I by volume.
Like the way the Viognier plays on the finish of this.
I do too. Yeah.
It totally works. It's just a logistically in the vineyard. It's like, oh boy.
No, that also makes a lot of sense.
So is your wife in the wine business at all, or?
No, she's not. But she gets a healthy dose at home.
Yes.
And I should mention my co-founder and brother-in-law Basile is incredibly involved on Coteau Pavot, and I really would be making a fraction of the wine that I do now if I didn't have him on the team. He
keeps finance.
Oh yeah. He works in fintech out in San Francisco, and so he brings a huge amount of expertise and help out for me, which that's a common weak point for winemakers.
Yes.
Does that mean he
I
says
didn't go to
no?
business school.
He does. He keeps me in line. He's like, "Hey, man, we bought a lot of barrels this year. No, we work together really well, and he has great taste in wine. Has always been a fan of wine, and so in turn, my wife hears us talk wine all the time. My wife is also a local Sonoman, so we actually, like I said earlier, met at Sonoma Valley High.
Sonoma High.
Yeah, and her...
Go Dragons.
Yeah, and
Noma Pride.
And her mom has a flower cart that I'd love to shout out. 7th Street Flowers. Out on 7th Street East, and she runs a beautiful organic flower garden. So if you're ever looking for flowers locally farmed and produced, go check her out.
Cool. Good shout out.
All right, so why orange wine?
It's delicious. Okay. I love orange wine. Yeah. It's one of my favorites to drink myself. This is the first one we've made, so we'll see, how the volume is and how it's received. So far, it's been a popular wine for us for sure. The Albarino is by far the bread and butter for us. But Grenache Gris, obviously, just a perfect orange color. Yeah. There's some tannin on this bad boy.
I mean, when I tasted this, I was like, we got to taste this when we're do the podcast, because it's a compelling wine in that you're like, what is it? Like if you pour this in
Grenache, though.
Right.
It does.
But if you pour it into a black glass, you might think it was a red wine.
Yeah, I think it was
especially
a
with
light,
the tannin.
Yeah, a light presentation of Grenache for sure.
How much? I mean, it's Grenache Gris, so it has some color in the skin. How much skin contact did you do?
I did 17 days.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was pretty lengthy. I would go longer if I could, but it's winery logistics is important too. But yeah, it's such an awesome variety. Yeah. It has that total Grenache tannin, which is super grainy and just present for sure. Yeah. A combination of pump overs and punch downs for this, which kind of upfront load a lot of air in the winemaking, and then kind of taper off. This is also aged in, there are 20 and 21 Francois Frere barrels, and I personally feel like it picked up a little bit of that oak. There's just a little bit of that kind of like like creme brulee kind of. Yeah.
I think had you not said that, I wouldn't have guessed it. But now that you bring it up,
yeah, I think it's important to note because I haven't worked with Grenache Gris nearly enough to know the variety. Who
has?
Right? But somebody should be planting more of that stuff because it's a really great grape.
Joliet makes one, right? Or no, that's the Melon de Bourgogne. Trousseau Gris, yeah.
Casey Graybill made one last year for the first time.
I mean, how much of it is out there?
That's the thing,
not.
Right?
His was a little bit up in Dry Creek, and this is from where? This is from Rourke.
This is from Rourke, yeah. This is from Rourke as well.
Yeah, this is not out there.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to come by, unfortunately. But if anybody's looking to graft anything over, Grenache Gris.
Good luck.
How much? What is production compared to the other wines on this wine?
I did 121 cases of this. So I did five barrels. And then overall, so the Albarino we did 210, and then through everything for 24 vintage we made 750 cases, and then we'll be at 900 cases for 25. So it's enough wine to keep us busy.
And are you in distribution at all?
No distribution yet. We have managed to sell everything direct, mostly in San Francisco, and then a couple of great folks up here in the North Bay that carry our wines, and it's been working out so far. 900 cases is a lot though, so ask me in a year.
It's scary when the pallet starts stacking up at bottling day. What did I do to myself?
When you say in San Francisco, you mean at
many restaurant locations in San Francisco. It's a place that I can drive to and deliver the wines ourselves. Yeah. And Basil also huge assistance with deliveries, because that's kind of the hardest part, right? Is I have a full-time job. I gotta keep Stewart Cellars as a main priority, and so delivering wine on a Tuesday is not really, doesn't fly.
Do we talk about that? Are you making these wines at Stewart Cellars?
Yeah, that Blair he's dedicated.
Yeah, right. I know I make them at Magnolia. Yeah, so right here in town with Jack,
cool.
With Sam. Love Magnolia. Shout out Jack.
Yeah,
awesome guy. love his wines.
That was a little flat.
You gotta get
We need
This gives orange wine a good name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because so many orange wines, they're like stewed and candied and caramelized. And,
Yes.
yeah.
And it'll,
Kombucha-y flavor.
Yeah, it's the funk town for me. That's not.
That's what I don't like. That's why I was like, why are you doing an orange wine? But this is fucking great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like Grenache Gris is probably the perfect vehicle for an orange wine. You know, because it has that tannin. You don't have to go with the like crazy 45 days, super oxidative. You know, you can keep a little freshness, and it has red wine aromatics, which I think is better than saying, you know,
And the grip.
right?
There's some grip.
No, I want to see this in 5 years when we open the 2024.
Is that kind of a
WAs.
Do you make this envisioning that, like aging for a while?
You know, I make all the wines with kind of it's always a tough balance, right? Because you want the wines to taste good up front because, you know, you have to sell them. You have harvest coming pretty quick after bottling every year. Yeah. All the wines are made with intention for ageability. You know, I would imagine that this wine will really be singing in like 18 months, you know?
How long ago was it bottling?
That was in May. So it's only been, that's 3 months ago, really.
How does it change in 1 or 2 days being open?
You know, it's been interesting because I've been watching the wine being a new wine and just trying to figure it out and, you know, make orange wines differently moving forward. It kind of moves around. Like I swear sometimes when it's cold, it's more tannic, and then sometimes it's cold and it's less tannic. So I haven't really figured that out yet. But
is there anything that you'll do differently going forward that you know already that you would change?
Frankly, I would try to work on softening that tannin just a little bit because I poured it for a lot of people in that first sip. They're like, whoa, that's some tannin there, which is the classic warning from, you know, making orange wine is that it can get pretty grippy. I would probably, if I could, I would go longer on skins, more air. And this ferment got hot. So that I think really contributed to the extraction that it had. I normally try not to use any cooling on the ferments. So like the Sangio, we never hit the jacket on the tank. But this guy was like 86 degrees one morning. And I was like, okay, let's throw that glycol on and chill it down just a little bit because I was worried about it being super grippy. I love the wine as it is. Just trying to think of the people who will be drinking the wine. I think that a little softer on the tannin might be something they'd be looking for.
I have Combi's voice in my head talking about non-alcoholic extraction and like keeping it cold for those first, you know, that first 3 or 4 days, and you know, seeing what the Grenache Gris skins give you in
Without the alcohol.
Without the alcohol, in an aqueous solution.
Yeah, that's good advice.
I can't charge you for it.
Public domain.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, shove it in the back.
Somebody
of the,
else's
shove
idea
it in the
anyway.
back of the
Right.
barrel room.
Right,
or,
exactly.
Yeah, just grab Isabel when she's here and you're making this wine. Say,
Yes. She won't be here until long after this wine is
It's
trailed down.
It's dry. But
Awesome. All right, what's next?
so we've got the Sangiovese will be good next one. I did bring a 23 Albarino, but maybe we can finish on a white wine.
I like that.
White wine dessert.
how are people tasting your wines? Is it just like Sonoma's Best, kind of like the main spot where people can come and try them if they just want to check them out?
Yeah, locally, that would be a great place to go here in Sonoma. The Epicurean Trader in San Francisco carries all of our wines at all the locations. So if you're out in San Francisco, that's a great place to grab them. And then obviously best place would be the website, drinkcp.com.
drinkcp.com. That last sip of the Grenache Gris was my favorite. Oh my god.
A little air,
Yeah.
soften the tannins a little bit. Let some other things out.
And the flavor's just jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll chill out after a little bit of time.
Oh, it's awesome.
And then
Brian will be sipping on that bottle for the next. Oh, you're off tomorrow. You might have to come in. You're not off. Are you off tomorrow? No.
Tristan's on
No
vacation.
days off. No days off.
Shocking.
Hashtag no days off.
Jasmine's birthday today, so she's up in
Shout out Jasmine's birthday.
Twain Heart, which sounds like something out of a Twin Peaks movie. Bow, 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 Twain Heart.
It's funny coming from you, considering where you go every year.
Yeah, I mean,
Daddyville's Twin Peaks Part 2.
Metropolis compared to Twain Heart.
We could probably pull up the Wikipedias if they exist on both of those places and
totally.
see if fact check that.
All right, so you're only
report.
red.
Yeah, there you go.
Why did you pick Sangiovese?
I love it, man. It's such a great variety. You know, nice acidity,
Yeah.
really nice fine tannin, and drinks nice with a little bit of a chill on it. I usually put this in the fridge, like 20 minutes. So it just has a freshness about it. And then also all of our wines, we thought about how we were going to sell them before we made them. And
Wow. What?
Who does that?
Man, what a fun
does
concept. I almost had to do a spit take on Sangiovese with that one. I almost didn't get it out.
And I think that Sangiovese has a really nice place to slip in on any kind of list because it's super food friendly. People know it, but they're not, maybe not super familiar with it. So like Albarino, it's harder to walk into a place with Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet locally here because there's already 3 of them on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great too.
Yeah, I kind of aim this in the realm of Chianti Classico and styling. So it's 12% whole cluster, and then there's 12% new oak as well. So just a tiny
Wait,
little bit.
did you say 12% new oak?
Yeah, just like one barrel out of
Okay.
like 11 or something
Right.
like that.
Oh, so you made a fair amount of this wine.
Yeah, we did 250 cases of this.
And it's only 12.73 alcohol.
Yeah. The 24s, I try to keep the little bit lower ABV, but 24 was...
It was a hot year.
Yeah, it was warm and maturity definitely zoomed ahead a little bit faster than I could get a trailer rented and go truck the fruit from the foothills. So,
Well, 23 was like the fruit was never ready.
yeah.
It drew out for
Like-
forever and ever and ever.
The 23 Albarino, which is from a different vineyard, but it's only 11.9. So it's
So what's the vineyard on this?
the vineyard on the
Sangio.
on the Sangio is River's Edge Vineyard. So this is out of Lodi. This is out of like Victor area. It's right on some really sandy soils that border the McCollum. So it's literally I made my first vintage of Albarino 2022 from River's Edge, and then 2023 it was completely underwater. So the River's Edge advanced.
Edge expanded.
I really like how on your white and orange wines, the poppy is orange, and then on your red, you have the red poppy.
Thank you.
Little Easter egg.
Yeah, just a little variation.
This is really pretty.
Kind of matches the wine. But yeah,
And so were you familiar with these grapes because you had gotten a different... you saw the Sangiovese and you were like, hey, maybe we can...
yeah. So spot on. Yeah, I walked through the Sangiovese block to the Albarino block.
Yeah.
And so
Down towards the river.
down towards the river. And then, we were just thinking we wanted to have a red wine in the portfolio because, of course, people also enjoy red wines. And
But you kind of spread yourself out. So then now you're Sierra Foothills, Sonoma, Lodi.
yeah, and, we're bouncing around a bit. So I'll be in pretty new vineyards this year as well. So I'm going back up to Rourke for Chardonnay. But now I'm going to Venturi up in Mendocino for the Sangiovese. And then I'm getting...
That'll be a completely different beast, won't it?
yeah, I have the 24 in barrel. It actually bottles in the beginning of August. And it is...
4th and 5th at Magnolia.
That's the day. I'll see you
On
there.
my calendar.
I'll see you there, Sam. So yeah, different wine for sure.
Are you trying to keep it in the same style where it's a low alcohol, kind of a lighter feel where you can put it in the fridge and drink it chilled? And
100%. Yeah, so the Venturi 24 is 12.9. I have a little bit Actually, it's also about 12-15% new oak. So in the blend, you can't taste it really.
And you're trying to keep the pHs a little bit lower on these wines, right?
Well, Sangiovese is something I was just about to ask that question. Like Sangiovese is such a low pH variety anyway.
Incredibly.
And picking it at a 13% potential alcohol. What were your pHs over 3? Like barely?
Yeah, barely. So out in Lodi is a different animal because of the quick draining soils, the quantity of irrigation, and then just the general farming practices out there are a little different. So Venturi is totally dry farmed. That was 3.1, and it was like 0.8 malic. So it was finished at 3.2.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's low.
Did not add tartaric on that one, did
No,
you?
I
No,
didn't.
I was going to say, there's tartaric here, but
Yeah.
on the 23.
I did add it in the 23, but on the 24, no tartaric added.
What's your pH range goal? I mean, I know I'm getting a little nerdy here, but I'm just
We already
really
talked
interested.
about biogenic, whatever those things are. So I think we've crossed that
mean-
bridge a long
And
time
he
ago.
did go to Davis, so you're good.
General pH range.
Yeah.
So I would say for whites, as low as it'll go and get through mallow, to be honest.
I love that. As low as it'll go.
Yeah. So like
A little limbo action here.
Yeah.
my Sonoma 24 Albarino, I picked at 3 flat, maybe like 3.05. It's still going through mallow, but it's almost there. So I guess finished wine pH, I would love to be for whites, like 3.2, 3.3. And then reds, depending on what it is, because you can really kind of manipulate how tannin is presented with pH. But like 3.2 to 3.45, I guess, would be a general. But again, if I was going to make, Cabernet or, Grenache, something like that, it would probably edge a little closer to 3.6.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I'm a fan of lower pH reds, and so I love a 3-4 red wine that you can put in the fridge during the summer, and it's a really nice red. If you're not, sometimes whites are just like a little too much for me, that's a weird thing to say.
Too acidic?
Crispy?
It's sometimes too crispy, and you just you need something that's more like I don't know, going to have a little bit more of a relaxed feel to it. And so I sometimes really like reaching for a low pH red, and I think this Sangiovese is great.
And this is
Thank you.
when people use the term crunchy when they talk about red wines. Like most of the time, I'm like, oh, but this exactly describes to me this wine. Like this has got that crunchiness to it, where it's got that.
But it also has some depth of flavor. Sometimes those crunchy wines, the problem is they don't have any depth.
Well,
in the flavor.
I don't know what people mean when they say crunchy. For me, I love the acidity level on it and the leanness of it. But it has depth of flavor. But it is like you're biting into crab apple.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's some acid in there, for sure.
Yeah.
But this still went through mallow.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned earlier, my goal is to put all the wines full mallow regardless. And, I think that you're kind of touching on a preference of mine as well that you have, is that for whites, I just like a little bit of roundness to them.
Yeah.
And if you pick it early enough, you can, in some regions, kind of maintain that freshness, but still have just a little bit of a more generous mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's what I love. Like if you have ML blocked SB, sometimes for me, it's just a little too edgy, like sharp.
Yeah.
Malic acid is just not something that I love necessarily. So,
Will you talk about the relationship between pH and tannin that you alluded to a minute ago, of like using pH to affect the way tannins present themselves? I haven't really heard that conversation before.
Totally. Lower the pH or higher the acid level, I definitely feel like tannin kind of gets punched up pretty bit.
Yeah.
And, it's another one of those things where, it can go either way. But I would say it's fair to say, general rule, that acidification or lower pH wines, naturally or not, kind of have a tendency to punch tannin up.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I find if you use new oak too, and I think I talked about this on a different episode with you guys, but if you have new oak with very low acid wines, especially the acids that you're pulling in, that the tannin it pulls out of the barrel is really green and just like woody and sharp. So yeah, I can attest to what he's saying.
Yeah, and any of the new barrels we buy, we go either, like low or medium toast. And it kind of has a nice way of filling in the gaps a little bit without getting that tannic kind of wood tannin bit to it.
Did we talk about the new oak on the whites? I can't remember. Do you have any on the Albarino or the Atelier?
Yeah, good reminder there. I do the Albarino with the poppy on it in neutral puncheons. And then the Atelier for the 23 is 50% neutral, 50% stainless, but I did put 50% light toast Austrian oak on the 24. So
gotcha.
We'll see how that goes. And it kind of doesn't taste like it, but it just has a nice infill and complementary. Austrian oaks, in my experience, are just less impactful, which I like that a lot because it gets all the benefit of the oak without the flavor component, kind of. So to be determined in 6 months when it's in a bottle.
Totally. All right, are we finishing with another white?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah, so the 23, this will be another nice contrast because this is all stainless. So we can kind of see difference between the puncheon and then the stainless, and then obviously a vintage older.
Is this also Rourke?
No, this is Vista Luna. So this is yet again another vineyard. This is one of Marcus Bokish's older plantings. Now Craig Ledbetter takes care of it, and it's super cool soils. Like there's big pieces of quartz everywhere.
So are you, you mentioned some new vineyards this year. Are you doing any new wines this year? Anything you're excited about in particular?
Big time that Chardonnay. Yeah, the Rourke Chardonnay. I'm super excited about that. And then the Albarino will be coming from Gomes Vineyard, which is out in kind of the Delta area on the way to Lodi.
So more Clarksburg than Lodi?
Yeah. In a vineyard I don't know yet, but we'll see. Honestly, it's been fun just kind of bouncing around a bit. We've been in this. I made my first wine in 2020 at Rourke's, but we've been commercial since 22. So I would definitely still put us in the figuring it out kind of zone of like, what's the style we love? What are the vineyards that work really well for our program? And then also just having some fun too, and checking stuff out. Yeah. So 23, a little bit older.
I like the puncheon.
Freaking me out.
I like the puncheon a lot. I mean, I'm a big fan of fermenting in puncheons. Anything I fermented in a puncheon for Lassiter, I always favored the puncheon.
100%. And then, Lodi has so much great potential. There's a huge amount of incredible wines made from the Lodi area. I would definitely, though, there's a lighter kind of style that goes with the region. And so the fruit from Rourke's has just more density, more concentration of flavor, and I don't know, more vitality, if that makes sense.
Brian, what's spinning around in your hamster wheel in your head right now? You have this look on your face.
The flavors in this wine. It's like lilikoi, passion fruit. It's like some sort of reminding me of like Road to Hana driving over fruit.
Driving over fallen fruit in a convertible.
Yeah.
I love that tasting note.
Yeah.
I think this requires field testing.
Yeah. Hey, who's got a convertible?
So different.
Every car rental agency in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I brought this because I felt it would be an interesting contrast.
It is an interesting contrast because I feel like in the 2024 where you used that little bit of neutral barrel integration, you do have that nice roundness that the wood brings it, where this is much more crisp.
Yeah.
100% agreed. Yeah, and I'll continue making white wines in the larger formats. I just love what it does, and a little bit of air during ferment goes a long way just to round out the wine, and I don't know, more developed, I guess.
I'm also, since we've gotten into chemistry conversations, my guess is in Lodi, ripe is at a lower pH than up in the foothills, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lodi just goes so fast.
Yeah.
It goes from like 17 and it's ready to come off the vine at like 19.5, 20 before you can, get booked at the winery.
So the heat, I mean, Lodi's hot, right? So wouldn't the heat maybe affect the pH of climbing a little bit before, or?
The pH is higher, but the limestone aspect of Rorick's, and that limestone classically keeps wine pH lower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a more difficult comparison, or a comparison that I don't, maybe I can't make accurately now.
One burns acid quicker, right?
I would say
especially certain years.
The metabolic rate of a vine in Lodi, getting some water and having warmer just all the time, everything just seems to move faster. Lower malic, higher pH, higher ripeness at maybe lower bricks. For sure.
And it probably starts growing a month earlier or more.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Everything's just ahead.
You pick this on August 1st, and now on September 1st. The September 1st ones have been growing for a less amount of time and up in the foothills and in Lodi, right?
100%.
I'm really glad you brought both, because it's always fun to see the evolution of a winemaker's mind and kind of what they're thinking and where they're going, and as they find their style through the vintages. So
100%. I'm glad you enjoyed.
All right. Well, Brian, tell everybody out there in podcast land how to get a hold of you. Where to buy the wines, anything that's going on, new releases that you want to talk about.
Finally.
Best place to find the wines, drinkcp.com. There's some info about, how we think about wine, and all the wines that we have available there. And that'll be the live kind of library of what's available. As far as the new releases, we have the Sonoma Albarino that we'll bottle in February. So we're going to overharvest that. And then the Chardonnay, I'm just super stoked about. But that's going to be about 18 months down the line. So we're getting pretty far out there. We'll have the new Sangiovese coming. Wines, just generally speaking, doesn't even have to be my wines. Todd Jolly, Casey over at Sonoma's Best. I love what they've done here in Sonoma for a great community of winemakers and wine lovers to come in and love what they've done. So you can find them there. And then out in the city, the Epicurean Trader, Fiorella, has been a great supporter of us. Sam's Burgers in North Beach. There's some other great spots in the city. We also have a list on the website, too, where you can find the wines. So you can check it out there, too.
Drink DP, CP.
Yep, Drink CP.
yeah, all very delicious wines. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Thank
It's
you,
like
guys.
a summer lineup. Even the red.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Just order, bottles of every single one of them, and you're set for the summer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Got to keep it fresh.
Totally. You guys want to talk about shit coming up?
This is the part of the show where we usually do that.
Let's do it.
Top of the list is Sorbet. Make sure you've gotten your tickets to Sorbet, August 17th, Fort Mason. The Sonoma Organic Regenerative Biodynamic Educational Tasting.
It's amazing how we've all figured that out.
It'll only take a couple months.
How are ticket sales going?
Tickets are selling.
So
Tickets have
get 'em.
Yeah, get them.
Yeah.
And Jean Dubois will be there as well.
John DeWall will be there.
Yes.
Then we got some other people signing up, some latecomers who want to pour at it. It's definitely caused some people to evaluate their farming practices so that they can be involved in next year's event, which is a cool part of it.
Yeah.
And it's probably since the last time we really talked about it, Monte Rosso has gotten certified. Gloria finished their certification. Maybe there's one other. So it's definitely a good time to be on that movement, ride that wave.
I will have some wines there, but I will not be there. Somebody will be representing me.
Get somebody a Bart mask.
Right.
Like maybe a Bart Simpson mask.
Yeah, maybe Bart Simpson mask.
Stanley Mouse.
Stanley Mouse Day. Formerly August 3rd, now August 10th, with the Rowan brothers and Fiorella from Alikai cooking up some food and turning this place into a mouseum for the day.
I know. So that's happening.
That's
Stanley's
happening.
bringing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to buy some stuff, you can.
Highly encouraged.
Highly encouraged. Yeah. I was just looking over pictures from last year. It was so cool seeing some of the pieces.
Yeah. And there'll be some of the same and a whole bunch of new stuff, things that he's done recently or found recently.
Yeah.
Sonoma Valley Vintage Festival
Coming up
September 25th through 27th. First night is the harvest dinner, which will be held at Vianza this year, with Glenelg and Star doing the catering.
Nice.
And then the Vintage Festival held in the barracks as it is every year. Tickets are selling very quickly for that. So get your tickets for that. If you're interested in cruising the Rhone with Dane Cellars and Vianza and a number of other Sonoma Valley wineries, including Klein. Megan Klein will be on the ship with us next June. Reach out to me. I have information about that. We're setting up some stops along the way when we pull in that we're going to have some local Rhone producers come down and do a tasting for us.
We got a couple kind of, random pop-up things. July 22nd, Madcap Restaurant in Marin in San Anselmo.
Michelin starred.
Michelin starred is doing a wine dinner with us. And we got some pretty baller shit that we're actually going to be pouring in some stuff out of Magnum. So I can't tell you.
Well, it's all I gotta buy a ticket to go.
It's all been set aside in the cellar.
There's not that many seats in that place, so you better get your
tickets. The place is tiny.
Yeah.
So we're kind of excited about that. All you have to do is go to their website and then book a table for July 22nd. It's a Tuesday night, and I think your dad is gonna be there. I don't know how much he'll be up and around talking to tables, but
having dinner.
He'll be
in the room with you.
He'll be in the room
having dinner. You can interrupt him and ask questions. He loves that.
Okay, cool. And then the 25th, Friday, we're going to take over the bar at the Fairmont Sonoma Mission Inn. Tony Saunders is playing that night, so one of his favorite wines is the Marsanne. So even though ours hasn't been released, we're going to bring some Marsanne for Tony. And then we'll pour 4 or 5 other things at the bar and come hang out and listen to Tony Saunders. It'll be 5 to 8, right in front of the... I love when he comes and does sound check at the Fairmont, because you can hear... Wherever you are on the property, it's a huge property. You hear bow, bow, bow. And not only hear it, you can feel it.
Rattling some of those old windows.
It vibrates your body. Boom, boom, boom. It's so fucking great. Just like hearing David Aguilar play yesterday. When David started shredding on the guitar, I'm like, that was my other favorite thing about it.
The impromptu band that they put together for the John Myers Memorial.
Yeah. Pretty stellar.
Yeah, it was killer. Roy Bloomfeld from the Blues Project on drums. I don't even know where they got some of those other guys. Jeff Falconer, it was the KSVY band, and they killed. Yeah, that was great.
Yep. Danielle, what's going on with you?
We'll just be at Sorbet, and you can always, find my wines on the website. We're currently redoing the website, so there'll be a launch soon.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully before we do our fall release of the 2022 cab.
Cool.
Should just give out Dan's cell phone. If you want wine, text Bigfoot. See how much he likes that.
JamDeboisWine.com.
Yeah, JamDeboisWines.com.
Yeah. Wines.
And I want to redeem myself. Coteau Pavot wines.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
We'll splice that and then we'll put it at the beginning.
As if we had that technological knowledge. Somebody could do it. We can't.
All right. We only went like 37 minutes past what Ed the Podfather said was the perfect time for a podcast.
Everybody who listens longer than 42 minutes to our show, will you please send us an email so that we can tell Ed that
42 minutes.
Conventional wisdom doesn't apply to us.
Yeah.
Right. Not much applies to us.
Yeah, very little wisdom anyway.
Yeah, good to see Ed, though, the Podfather guy who owns the Radio Misfits Podcast Network, and said that we can go ahead and record a new intro. Okay. And just send it to him. And he's got 3 people that will re-record it, or we can just do it the way we want. So it's good to get confirmation
of
him after he had been drinking that we can basically do whatever we want. So
Exciting.
I think that's the best part.
And then he'll do whatever he wants and
Well,
then put it on the internet.
Yeah, we'll
Perfect.
see. Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. We'll look forward to. You got something else?
Should we do DTC contraction?
Oh, shit.
yes.
There we go.
DTC.
January 20th through 20 something.
20th through 22nd in Monterey. I mean,
Tickets are selling. I talked to Barbara the other day. Tickets are selling way faster than they've ever sold.
Probably because we keep
ever
remembering
sold.
to do these promos.
It is. I said we take full responsibility for it.
not only that, but it's kind of a great spot. I mean, it's much better than the place they were doing it at. I mean, it's like
Low
you're
bar.
on vacation in a lot of ways.
Right.
You're on a golf course. There's lots of great restaurants.
Yeah.
There's
Just the hotel bar comparison.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if any of those, people that are listening, like people that we met that we ran into at the bar that like are making
Ended up
wine
on the
and
show.
come hang out, come to DTC.
If you're in selling or marketing wine and somebody from your organization is not going, then you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
Just to like bring new thinking back to your marketing department, or if your marketing department is one, some fresh ideas, even if it's not specific to wine. That's actually kind of what makes it cool. Is it's
And sometimes
out
it's
there.
not even the keynote speakers; it's people that you talk to while you're there,
Right.
Totally.
Or which is, and I assume we'll be there podcasting.
Well, we'll see how we do with these promos if we get invited. There's still 6 months to go.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.
Review.
Review,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Bye.